Am I the asshole for saying I don't want to be called aunt? My 32 female father is 20 years older than his younger brother, David, 34 male. Due to various factors, David spent a majority of his early years with my parents. By the time I was 10 and David was 12, he moved in. David and my dad look nearly identical and people always assumed that was his son. My parents always said he was their first kid. They loved him like a son, etc. I always felt a bit weird about this. David is a nice guy, but he's not my brother. I never understood why it was my parents' job to pick up the slack of my grandparents. It caused a few disagreements in my youth that always boiled down to David has nothing, you have everything, be nice. I hated that I essentially went from an only child to a younger sister without being asked. I never looked at David as a brother, but obviously due to our small age gap, I never saw him as an uncle. To me, he's just family. We get along well. David is now married with a daughter, Aria. My parents are grandma and grandpa to her. It does make me feel some sort of way that they've christened her as their first grandbaby, but I've accepted I can't control how they feel and relate themselves to David. So long as when my husband and I have kids, they're the same to them, and I know they will be. That's fine. The real issue is that David, his wife and my parents have tried making me Aunt Tabitha. I don't like it. Aria isn't my niece. I tried to just refer to myself as my first name with her, but the hint wasn't going through. As Aria is too little to speak 8 months, I plan to let it go for now. Yesterday, we were at my parents' for Christmas. Aria was being fussed over, as usual. When it came time for David and his wife to help her unwrap the gift my husband and I got her, David told Aria, "This is from Auntie Tabitha and Uncle Mike." Without thinking I said, "Just Tabitha and Mike." David gave me an odd look but went back to unwrapping. Later on, privately, David asked if I was okay. I said yes. Why? He said I got weird during gifts. I said not weird, just factual. I'm not Aria's aunt. He was still confused. I said I'm not his sister. This seemed to hurt his feelings, but he said okay, apologized, and said he'd never say it again. My mom pulled me aside later and said I was cruel to David. She said he considered me his sister. I simply said I'm not, and I'm not that baby's aunt. My mom gave me a disgusted look. She and my dad barely spoke to me the rest of the night, though David and his wife were polite. My husband feels there were better ways of going about it. So, am I the asshole? Please like, share, and subscribe.